going to do another section of the AT. It's myself, Kurt, Panda. We are on Shippensburg Road. We are heading north towards Pine Grove Furnace State Park. So there's the southbound side. And yeah, it's not going to be a hard section. We are only going to do 8 miles total. So we're going to come up here. We're going to stay at Tom's Run Shelter. So we're going to hike north. That's roughly 5 miles of Tom's Run Shelter. And then we are going to continue on down to Pine Grove Furnace State Park and pick up the other car. But all right, I'm going to get moving here, but I'm going to stop and turn on my reserve tracker and get that going. Oh yeah, look at this. Nice, easy. We know from when we did the Sunset Rocks hike that we are going to encounter a little bit of rock, but the southern section of PA is a lot of this. Really nice trail.
Now, like 3 hours till we're at camp?
Yeah, so that might not be much of an exaggeration. So 5 miles, but we are heading pretty much, it's all downhill from here. There's a little bit of ups along the way, but we're starting on top of the ridge and we'll just be gradually working our way down. It is beautiful out. It's hovering right around 50 degrees. Now for this trip, we did we weren't sure how to go about it. One of the reasons why this is such a short hike is tomorrow, actually starting tonight sometime, rain is moving in from the south and it looks like a pretty big system, and the part that's going to hit this area of the state is dark red, so we'll see how that is. But yeah, tomorrow's supposed to be rain pretty much the entire day, so shorter miles. That way, when we're hiking out in the rain, it'll only be a short distance. It won't be so miserable. It's one of the nice things about these kind of trips. You can really tailor them to the weather that you're dealing with. We're just cruising right along, and we found one of the halfway points. This one, according to the picture inside, this was for the 2022 hiking season that this was the halfway point. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it right there. It's a little faded from the weather, but yeah, the mileage for the trail doesn't always stay the same. It does flex from year to year sometimes.
I feel like it gets longer.
So AT very clearly goes that way. We're gonna go this way. So about a half mile. Half mile. Oh yeah, maybe it's a 14 miles. No,
11 miles.
So we're gonna go see what this cabin looks like. I mean, on this terrain, that quarter mile is nothing. And I learned from us missing the general when we did that section of the AT. I'm gonna want to go back and see the general. So I might as well see the side stuff now.
We're almost 2 miles in.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We were a mile back when we crossed that parking lot. So yeah, it's a fun little joke how far we are so soon because of the terrain. And you know, our general shape for how well we can hike. Hey, I can see the cabin from here. So we're at the cabin area. So this area is pretty well locked down. Panda went to go check out the privy. It's locked. The cabin is probably locked up as well. It's even like all the windows and stuff are shuttered. But it tells you no camping unless you're the cabin user. Now, I don't know how you reserve cabins like this. I think they are managed by our state park system, but they could also just be managed straight up through like the state forest. But there's the sound of rushing water over here, so there is a spring. But yeah, this is a nice little detour. Cool little spot. Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, the one little rack back there, Kurt pointed out, it looks like it is the looks like it's a rack for skis. So spring up that way, but it's running right through here. I'm not going to keep going, but yeah, it's a nice little spot. Now, as much as I like backpacking and camping in hammocks, tents, what have you, I think it'd be pretty cool to stay in one of these spots at some point. But yeah, this looks like it's probably for holding skis and ski poles and stuff, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that was a super easy quarter mile. We're just going to head back and then jump back onto the AT. But one of the other trails through, I honestly don't know if we're in state forest, just normal state forest, or if we're in a state park right now. But so some of the other trails. The 233, that's the road where you actually see the Pine Grove Furnace Visitor Center and AT Museum and all that fun stuff. I did not bring the hammock. I did not bring a tent because I am also going to sleep in the shelter. I have never slept in a shelter before, so figure might as well. And then I don't have to pack up anything in the rain tomorrow morning. So it's kind of a decision made out of laziness, I guess, and not wanting to fight with wet stuff. But yeah, it's still pretty warm out. It's like, I think if this one's correct, it's like mid 40s. Yeah, it's like right around 45. But this is a very nice shelter area. I did a little bit of a tour of it when we were here before, when we did the Sunset Rocks hike. But it says spring that way, but you are by Tom's Run all along there where Kurt is set up down along the water. But there's a tent pad up there, a fire ring up there, a picnic table, privy's back that way. And the awesome thing about this place is this is definitely this is set up for lots of people to camp here. You really don't have to worry about a shortage of places to stay. But we're the only ones so far that are staying overnight. But there's that really nice fire ring. And over where his hammock is, there's not a fire ring over there, I don't think. But I think it's just a tent area. There's a fire ring on this side of where he's staying, though. And you have the Adirondack shelter, so why not have Adirondack chairs? But yeah, more tent pads down here. This is just a very, very awesome campsite. The shelter here, very nice. I love the fact that you get to fall asleep listening to the sound of water. And all of their picnic tables have a little hot pad. So anyone that might not be familiar, certain cooking stoves, you don't want to sit directly on a picnic table or anything wooden, or even like directly on the ground. Like, I typically use an alcohol stove, and as part of my kit for that, I keep a little piece of folded up aluminum foil, and I put that underneath my alcohol stove so that it doesn't burn or damage anything. Actually, this one doesn't have a hot pad, but this is a really old picnic table compared to the other ones that are here. It's way too early for dinner, but I have some of my miso soup that I like to bring in the wintertime as a little bit of a snack and to help warm up. And
I just can't.
So Panda picked up a travel.
It's a sai-sai.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, it's a Japanese. It's a sai-sai.
Okay, I didn't know
Or
I actually
CC
had.
or something. It's
But
like TSY.
it's a fully nesting teapot, and there's the little container that it goes in, and it came with what, 4 cups?
3.
3. But it's a cool little thing, and this is the first time she's brought it. But yeah, the carrying case is hard shelled. She had it on the outside of her pack. What kind of tea do we have?
Chamomile.
Chamomile?
Yeah.
It's too early for that to get sleepy.
It's the calm. It's not the sleeping.
But yeah, so there's a few of us either bringing new gear or changing out gear. Kurt brought his solo stove, which is that little guy there. Uses wood to fuel it. That's what all the little pieces he has there. Alright, it's a little dark in here, but I'll show you what I got. I'm using, first off, Demarest Ridge Rest. That's Panda's, but I wanted to give my inflatable pad a little buffer from the floor, just for a little added protection. And I don't really need it for the comfort for myself, because my air pad is a Big Agnes. Oh man, I don't remember what it's called anymore. It's like the Air Core insulated. I've had this thing down as low as like the teens, and it's been great. Back when I used to get the Cairn subscription box, I got this sheet for an inflatable pad, and I use that a lot, mostly because it'll give me a little extra protection on my air pad, and it has this nice little pocket for holding a pillow, and it also has a strap that goes around the pad. So the added bonus here is I do have my pad straps for my quilt, but this thing, the strap of this is going around both pads, so it's helping to keep them together. That way when I sleep they don't shift around a whole lot. But I do have my UGQ Bandit. This is my 0 degree, and I have the pad straps, 2 of them on it. And my pillow is my Nemo Philo pillow. And that pillow, it's been great, man. Smitty got one, and he recommended it when my my Sea to Summit Arrows popped. Well, it didn't pop, but it got a leak in it. But this thing is nice. It is a combination of synthetic and an inflatable ladder. And I don't know if that's the large size. I think that's just the medium size. But it's been really good for when I go to ground. Yeah, I even use that in the hammock and just don't fully inflate it. But I've also used it as a road trip pillow in the car. It's pretty comfy for that as well. But that's my setup. Very different from seeing the full-on hammock and everything. but this has served me well in a tent, so I see no reason why it'll be any different tonight. We did get a tarp rigged up here, so we're not going to block the top for like airflow and whatnot in here, but it's kind of like held up. But we're going to drop that and like pull it out, and then any kind of blowing rain, it should fully protect us from that, because the awning of the shelter should be more than enough to block any upper level stuff. And if rain is coming that sideways, well, that's a pretty wicked storm, so I'm not really concerned about that. But from here you can see how close I'm going to be to the end of the shelter, so definitely a little concerned about that rain that could potentially hit the bottom of my quilt and everything. So that's about it. We have a fire going out here, and again, tried to figure out the last time I backpacked and had a fire.
I figured it out. It was that cold time in the shadow.
Well, no, we talked about that. So we didn't really get a fire going. We couldn't remember if we got the fire fully going or not. So the only time I can remember that we had a full-on fire for backpacking, and we did it twice. It was 2 nights in a row for Dolly Sods. That was 2019. That was Black Friday weekend. But last year we got Shadow out. It was his first cold weather camp backpacking trip on the AT. It was the Eagle's Nest shelter. We tried to get a fire going. I don't really think we had much success with that, though. I can't really remember, because I was pretty tired by the time we got to the shelter for that. So, but 2024, we definitely have a fire, so there you go. We are getting our dinners ready, and I have my venison goulash, which is like one of my go-tos when it's cold out. But I tried something a little different. Most of what I do is try to reduce waste. I know some ways it's hard. And one thing I did recently is Knock makes this soft-sided bottle. It's 32 ounces, and I really like it. This sport cap that's on it, it comes with that, but it comes with a thread-on, like screw lid. But they ship this one with you just in case you want to use it, which I think is an awesome option that they do that, because I didn't know they did that when I ordered it. But I ended up using this one because with hiking, it's a lot easier to drink from it out of that style lid without, spilling water all over yourself. But when I bought that, I also bought another bag by them. So they make a bag, and I dehydrate a lot of my own food, and this is what this bag is designed for. So it has a 1 serving, 2 serving line, and it's meant to dump your water in, and it has like your boiling limit, like temperature limit, the same as their other bags like this do. So my idea is I bought one. This is the first time I'm using it for the intended purpose, and I'm gonna eat my dinner out of it and clean it and everything when I get home. See how easy it is to clean, and if I feel like it's worth it and I like it, I might buy a second one, because typically our trips don't go more than 3 days. So if I had 2 for 2 dinners, there we go. Because dinners are typically the only meal of the hike that I cook. Sometimes I'll do a lunch, but yeah, there's that. And I don't do a lot of camp videos, but figure we're at camp so much, and I actually do have some things that I just like the bag that I haven't really talked about. And there's this little pot stand right here from Tokes. After seeing Kurt and Shadow use that one, I decided to pick one up. And first use of it, it's definitely way more efficient than the other Tokes pot stand that I use. So that's nice. I like that redesign that they did. But yeah, I'm gonna dive into my goulash and go sit by the fire. Okay, we are packing up. I tried to record this once, but the GoPro decided to die on me. I didn't keep the battery warm overnight. But the storm rolled in, and it was more aggressive than the last forecast showed, but as aggressive as the original forecast showed. So it's kind of swung back around to where it started. Tarp across the door was awesome. Kept us dry because a few points in the night where I rolled over, the tarp was like blowing in, and it got wet instead of us, so that was a good thing. We should have a window coming up very soon where this should taper off at least a little bit, and we'll be able to start hiking, but we'll see how it goes. But if we don't get that window, it's gonna kind of be like this all morning by the looks of it. But that's it. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to film on the way out because GoPro's dead, and probably gonna focus on not slipping on rocks. So we'll see. But I'm gonna get going. Well, this is what our hike out looks like. This is what it's been most of the way. It did slow down a little bit, and it picked up a little bit too, but overall, just kind of been like this, not terrible. I mean, we all are wearing seal skins, so got waterproof socks on, feet are nice and dry and warm. Worst thing I had is my OR gloves that I've had for a couple seasons now, and I use them for like everything from like driving gloves to hiking to you name it, but they're just a liner that has a rain shell that you can put over top them. I think my rain shell finally quit on them because the inside was getting wet, and my rain jacket has like a good gauntlet on it, so it fully like covers the glove. But I bought these shells, and they have been really good for like hand warmth on the cold hikes. These are just a pair of like ski snowboard gloves, but under this kind of rain, they're not doing so well. They soak through on the thumb first, but I'm gonna try and like treat these and see if I can make them a little bit more resilient in the water. But that's kind of it. Got full rain gear on, obviously. Just trying to stay warm and dry. The temperatures aren't terrible. When we left the shelter, it was, I think, 38 degrees. And we ended up leaving like right after 6 a.m. We were supposed to catch like a window at 6 where things were going to slow down. That didn't really happen the way we were hoping it would, but still, not a bad hike. But everything by the shelter was super flooded. Okay, so anyone that watched our Sunset Rocks video, this is the end of the loop and the bridge that we crossed. Well, we are back on 233. Right up here is all the buildings for the Pine Grove Furnace State Park. We just came down off of Appalachian Trail Road, which is like a dirt road that leads to some cabins. Pretty cool spot. Yeah, all in all, good trip out. I mean, the nice thing is we knew about the rain, so we were prepared for it. Like, more prepared than normal. Usually I'm always ready for rain, but you know, I took a few extra precautions this time because pretty much knew that we'd be hiking out in the rain today. Well, one thing worth note is you leave your car here, which we left the car here. You have to register with the office, and they have like slips outside the door that you can fill out. No fee, of course. It's just they want to know whose car is there. It's also nice too because if something happens on the trail and you don't show up, they know something's going on. But definitely a good hike. Staying at the Tom's Run shelter was awesome because when we did the Sunset Rocks, I knew on that hike that I wanted to stay at that shelter during the winter. Mostly because the way Tom's Run flows, I have a hard time picturing that being too dry unless we're like in a severe drought. So even in the winter time, reliable water source. But that'll be it. Just gonna finish off this little walk, get back to the car, start getting non-wet hiking clothes on, and go for breakfast. We're gonna go up to Boiling Springs and go to Cafe 101. That is the restaurant that we hiked to with Chris on our section hike last May. So that place was awesome, great food. Looking forward to going back there. I will see you guys later.